Can you photograph Orion with a 10-pound lens? So before we come on to, very shortly, a lot more of those images, and we'll look at them in more detail, what was the challenge I gave myself? Well, it was with this, a 10-pound 50mm SMC f2 from Pentax. So the challenge was, can I take photographs of Orion wide open at f2, what's the quality going to be like, and under light polluted skies. And at the end of the video I'll give you my own hints and tips if you're starting out in this type of photography without a telescope, and also a little added bonus right at the end. And so with the images I took, the first one you see, these are all at 1600 ISO, and the first one just 4 seconds. That's all it took, and with that, that's on a fixed mount, and so not driven or anything, no go-to computerized gadgetry, anything like that, no electronics, just 4 seconds, and you can pick up quite a lot of stars. And one question I wanted to answer was, at f2, are you going to get any coma smearing towards the edge? And if you don't know what coma smearing is, it's what you're looking at now. And so the answer is yes. And so I would imagine at f2.8 you would see a much more defined point of light rather than that coma smearing. But I wanted to push the boundaries. I just wanted to test it. So when I do some shots again, I'll shoot at f2.8, maybe f4, and see what the differences are. And then I went through the exposure range from 8 seconds, again bringing out more stars. And another thing that you'll notice with photography, and I did not enhance saturation with these, is the colour of stars that are brought out. And you're looking at Orion's belt here now, taken with this lens. Again, even in the centre there is a little bit of coma smearing, not out of focus, and you can see 2 of the stars seem to have a more red or orange hue, and the third one a what, bluey white. And you can find out a lot about the composition of a star, its size, its age, etc., just by the colour. And that's something to watch out for when you're doing astrophotography. Look out for the colours in the stars, and there's a lot you can research beyond that. And so then going on to longer exposure, where I went up to, I think it was 10 seconds and then 15 seconds. When you crop in, you do see some more trailing of stars, because it wasn't on a driven mount, but only really when you crop in. But I think you'll agree, considering this is under light polluted skies, no filtration used at all, and I think you can see stars down to what, 11th or 12th magnitude, in fact, when I cropped right in. So yeah, I'm very impressed with this little lens for astrophotography. And it turns out with the crop sensor on a Canon EOS, which I believe is what, 1.4 times, correct me if I'm wrong, it fits Orion perfectly. And so if you're looking to do this sort of photography yourself, just a simple fixed lens, or any DSLR or SLR camera lens, you want to try this sort of photography, what are the sort of tips that I can give? And I am by no means not an expert, but focus is absolutely critical. If your focus is 98% and you crop right in, you won't get that detail. And the way to get accurate focus when using a DSLR, in fact I was using the EOS 1100D that you're looking through now, is to use magnified live view. Don't look through the eyepiece, magnified live view, and crop right in, zoom right in on with the camera settings and focus on that star. And what you're looking for is it to become a point of light. Don't think because it's getting bigger and bigger you're getting closer to the star. That's just going out of focus. And so very nice bokeh balls, but not very good for detail. So yeah, that little point of light. Camera shake. If you like with my camera, I generally use a 2-second timer. So press the button, stand away, and then let it take the photograph, so you're not shaking it. Cover up the eyepiece with your hand, because any external light that gets through into the prism can actually get through to the sensor, and so without touching the camera, cover the camera eyepiece. And lastly, always shoot RAW files, not JPEG. With a RAW file you can bring out so much detail. Like, you can't just, with a JPEG you can maybe do the exposure, etc. But with the RAW file you can actually bring out detail that is not in the original. It will be invisible. If you're using, for example, the tone curves. I'll put up an image just to show what I mean by that, the curve chart. And by sliding that across, you can, the difference is incredible. You can adjust the colour, temperature, you can adjust exposure for different parts of the frame. There's so much more to it. I know there are videos out there that show that in a lot more detail, but please, or if you can, use RAW files. It's so much better than shooting JPEG. If you're not familiar with RAW files and you don't want to go down that route, yeah, JPEG, they'll get you some nice results, but RAW, if you are very, very serious about this. And so that's, oh yeah, and patience. You're going to make mistakes. Don't worry about it. I make plenty. And so yeah, be patient. You're not going to get fantastic results first attempt unless you're very, very good. And so I said I'd have a little added bonus for you at the end. Now, while I was taking some more star images, I photographed Gemini. And there's something that I've seen in Gemini through a large telescope, and I was just curious to see if this camera would pick it up. Okay, it would be a small blue dot, but the fact that I can see it, yeah, it was a little box that I could tick at the end. And in Gemini there's something called the Eskimo Nebula, and here's a photograph I took of Gemini, and I will just crop in a couple of times just to show you where I was looking, and that little blue point of light is the Eskimo Nebula. So please go on the interweb and look up the Eskimo Nebula in Gemini the Twins, and you'll see some really nice images. And if you have got a large telescope and you want to look at it visually, I would definitely go for an oxygen 3 or O3 filter. It just absolutely an amazing sight, especially from dark skies. So yeah, I hope this helps show what can be achieved with a £10 lens. A few hints and tips across along the way. Heading to dark sky season, so please get out there and take some photographs for your SLR or DSLR camera, any photographs you like, without a telescope. If you like, send the results to me, and if I get maybe 10 or 15 images, I'll do a photo slideshow for you all. So I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.